this 2025. So we have two amazing facilitators who will be guiding us today on how to set our goals and using self-reflection and of course putting in some actionable insights or inputs that will help us to both thrive and flourish in 2025. All right. If you're happy to be here, I'd like you to use any chat session. Just use any emoji of your choice to register your presence. Okay, before I proceed any further, I believe some housekeeping rules are in order. It's important that you mute your microphones. Please check that your microphones are muted so that we don't have any interference and we can all get the maximum benefits from this session. Like I said before, this is a very great session, a very beautiful way to start your year. What the next 11 months that will lead into another powerful 30 December would look like would largely be determined by the actions that we take. So you are in very good hands. Okay, so first off, without wasting too much time, I'd like us to welcome our first speaker, and incidentally, she's the convener for today's session, Abike Wesi. We call her Coach Wesi, right? She's a human resources executive with over 28 years experience. She's also a chartered professional in human resources, CPHR. It's a HR body in Canada. She's a chartered member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development in the UK. She's also a member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. In 2021, she received double award of HR Leader and HR Champion as judged by the HR People magazine. She has been recognized as one of the 30 leading women in HR in Nigeria by the Warden Human Capital Development Institute in celebration of the 2023 International Women's Day. She's a certified career coach that has impacted the lives of several people, including yours sincerely. I just realized that I didn't introduce myself. My name is Eziamaka Alfred. And just before I did that, I was talking about the number of lives that Coach Wesi has impacted. She has helped quite a number of us out there find out how to take that next step in our career journey and also how to align both our individual and career goals. And we are all thriving because she has made that effort and she has sown those seeds into our lives. So join me in a beautiful virtual accolade to welcome Coach Wesi as she takes us through the first phase of our session today, planning and setting your goals in 2025. I'd like you all to listen attentively and also put down your questions because immediately after she's done, we'll be going through some question and answer sessions based on what you have heard from her today and other questions that are related that you might have, for her too. So, Coach Wesi, we are delighted to have you here today. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for the applause. Coach Wesi?
Thank you so much.
Great.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
We pray we'll have an amazing year.
Amen.
So we're here today to look at how we can, have a transformative year. So I'll just dive in right in so that we don't waste much of your time. This is my screen showing.
Yes, it is.
Right. Just a minute. Just a minute, I'll be with you. Okay. So we're going to be looking at this table of contents briefly. All right. 2025 offers a unique opportunity for us. It's a new year, a new opportunity to set goals professionally, personally, because the goals we set today is what will actually determine or will shape our tomorrow. And that's why we need to be intentional about this. So before we start talking about setting goals, let's try to look back at 2024. What worked well for you in 2024? I'm sure you know what worked well. What are the lessons you learned from 2024? Why is it important for us to review last year so that we will not, find ourselves in the same situation? What worked? What didn't work? Why didn't it work? Because as human beings, we all have infinite potentials. If in 2024, all you did was to set New Year resolutions, that's based on season. That's not based on purpose. And that's why a lot of New Year resolution fails. Also, a lot of goals. Research says 92% of people don't achieve their goals. So what we'll be looking at today is why don't they achieve their goals, so that we don't find ourselves in that situation. So all of us need to review our 2024. Don't say you're not going to review because maybe what you planned was not what happened. We all need to review so that we can have a better year. So I'd love to hear from us. What's your take on goal setting? Not everybody believes in goal setting. Even though, because I'm sharing my screen, I cannot really see, but let's have a few charts. What's your take on goal setting? Do you believe, or you don't, or you have been setting, you have not been achieving? Let's just, so that I won't be the only one talking. What's your take on goal setting? So there's someone putting marks on all these things. Hello? Hello? Hello,
We
are
have
we there?
someone who believes in goal setting.
Sorry,
We have
I'm
a
seeing
believer.
marks. I'm seeing marks on the screen from one Farida. Maybe we have to remove exit that person because it's actually covering my screen.
Oh, okay. Your screen is back up. We have the background. Okay. Goal setting is necessary for guidance and discipline. We have 2 believers in goal setting.
Just a minute, Ezi. I think we should remove a Farida who is putting marks on the screen. Priya, are you there? We still can go on this, but please stop putting marks on the screen. Hello? Hello?
Yes,
We can hear you.
ma'am. Can hear you.
So I'm seeing a disturbance, Sha. I'm seeing a disturbance from someone putting images on the screen.
Oh, I think I've noticed it. I'm trying to What
Yeah.
participants would this be? Could you please disable your videos, dear participants, so that the spotlight can be on the presenter?
It's not even the video. There's someone putting marks on the screen. Okay, let's try and go on to see whether we'll be able to continue. So I was trying to hear your take on goal setting. Goal is a target that you plan to achieve. Some people believe in goal setting while some don't. However, Robert Finlay said, in the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing our daily trivial until ultimately we become enslaved by it. So goal setting is critical. It keeps you accountable. It provides clarity and direction. It focuses your energy. You know, without setting goals, you just go with the flow without setting goals. So that's why goal setting is critical. And to be able to set goals, you need to understand who you are. Who are you as a person? So when I ask you now, who are you? You will say, maybe I'm a finance executive. Maybe I am, that's not you. That's the role you are performing. Or somebody can say, I'm married, I'm single, I'm about to be married. That's not you. The who you are speaks to your personality, your core values, your passions, your strengths in life, your purpose. So we need to, be honest about who we are. Where are you going on the journey of life? Where are you going on your career journey? You need to be honest about who you are and where you are going. If you are not honest about who you are and where you are going, you know that time will tell the story, or your results will tell the story. Where you are going should speak to your future. And once you understand this, you keep moving. So to be able to set actionable goals, there needs to be a paradigm shift. I will speak more to that. If I ask now, how many of us know our life vision? Life vision is very, very important. Most people plan for every other thing in life, but do not plan for life itself. What's your life vision? Where do you see this life going? In the next 5, 10 years of life, where do you want to see yourself? We need to think through that and document. Why is vision important? To describe what vision is like going for an eye test. When you go for an eye test, the optician will, show all these, they are A, B, C, D, E, and tell you to, just to test whether you see. They want to test your ability to see. So you have the big print, you have the smaller print. So for us to be able to clarify our vision in life, we need to think about where we want to see ourselves and plan the future with wisdom. Also, before we can achieve our goals, we must understand our value. What are values? Our values shows, what is critical, what is important for us in life. You need to understand your why. Before you can dream, you need to understand your why. Some people, maybe in life, they want to be fulfilled, they want to be joyful, have a nice family, be a successful professional, have great friends, thrive in career, have a nice car. These are all what, people's dreams. However, your vision or your dream must align with your value. These are some of examples of value. Some people value collaboration, fun, teamwork, integrity, hard work, fairness, learning, honesty. What are your values? You need to understand your 3 most important values. Identify them. First of all, ask yourself, What's really important to me in life? I'll give a typical example. I value integrity in all ramifications. So even when I found myself in an organization where everybody was cutting corners, you know, I told myself I will never be a part of it, because that, you know, negates my value of integrity. That's why, so that you won't be able to join people when they are doing what is bad, if you already understand your value. Your value, you know, that's what makes you happy. So before you can set goals and be able to walk in line with your goals, because your goals must align with your value. So we must all, you know, like I said, identify the first three values that we have in life. Also for 2025, can you mute the person, please? For 2025, a lot of us, we're already in 2025. But if I ask you now, do you have a theme for 2025? Most people don't have a theme for 2025. Can you help me mute that person, please? You don't have a theme for 2025, and day is already 11th. The year is running very fast. So it's not too late for you to be able to come up with a theme for 2025. Before you can come up with a theme, you must be able to ideate, imagine, create ideas. What do you want 2025 to be for you? Maybe in a sentence, in a phrase, or a word. You know, in 2025, I want to be bold. I want to be courageous. I want to change in some aspects of life. I want to love more. I want to have more joy. We need to use our power of imagination to create that image, that theme. And when you are creating a theme for 2025, example, when you want to create a theme about joy, be careful of limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs are things, you know, that limit us in life, but they're already parts of us because they are formed from our background, from the kind of experiences we have had in life. So those limiting beliefs may tell you, how can your theme for 2025 be joy when there are challenges in life? But it doesn't mean, you know, you can still come up with a theme for 2025. So after you've done that, then you need to dream. Whatever, if you cannot dream to see something good, it will be difficult to experience it. Dream, and I said dream big. What will make 2025 to be my best year? Dream big. Dream of opportunities. Close your eyes, because that's the way to dream. Close your eyes and imagine how you want 2025 to be. That will help you to stretch your goals. Remember, what is too big for you to imagine will be too big for you to handle. So capture the picture in goals. 2025 can only be different if you do things, if you are intentional and you do things differently. So let me go now to setting goals. Sure, we all understand that if you casually set any goal, sorry, I've moved on. Before any goal you are setting must be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, you know, realistic and time bound. So Zig Ziglar said, a goal that is casually set and lightly taken is freely abandoned at the first obstacle. Because when you set goals in life, there will be obstacles. If your goals are vague, your results will be vague. So you need to think through those goals. After thinking, then you write, you document. Whatever is not documented did not happen. And don't forget, your goal must align with your purpose. Your goal must align with your value. If there is disjointed between your goals and your purpose and value, it will be difficult for you to achieve it. So, like I said, think deep and document. These are my goals. there are 3 different types of goals. A-type goals, these are things you know how to do. A typical example of A-type goal is, let me say, like, I want to buy shoe and bag. I know how to do it. I can plan towards the end of the month to go and buy shoe and bag. That's A-type goal. B-type goal, there are goals that you need to reason before you can achieve it. An example, I want to increase my income in 2025. So what do I need to do? I need to reason. If I'm an employee and my salary is limited, what can I do to get promotion? If maybe the money from the organization will not be enough for me, can I have side hustle? Oh, my slides are moving. It must be network. Let me unshare and reshare again. Sorry about that.
So the new one is the future. Okay, past and the future. All right.
Someone please mute that
Thank you, Dapo. So let's go to Mr. Debayo. What are you for or apply for this? By the way, Dapo, when you accept this money, this person, somebody comes to mind.
Yeah, can you help us mute that person, please? Not from here. There's so much noise.
From here, Mr. Biola, okay, it's out now.
All right. The person was really disturbing the class. Okay, so let me reshare again. Sorry about that. It's network. Is it showing now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so
Well,
type
yeah.
Type B goals, they are the goals you need to reason out. I want to increase my income. So what do I need to do? Maybe I need to do side hustle and, spend my weekend and, use, to be able to make more money. So I need to reason out. And you have the C-type goals. What you don't know how to do and you must stretch. That's the real goal that is hairy and audacious. Those are the kind of goals that will require paradigm shifts. Bob Proctor said, your comfort zone is a dangerous place because it almost feels good. For all of us, our comfort zone almost feels good. So we need to stretch ourselves. And that stretching can only come from C-type goals that will require paradigm shifts. C-type goals will cause you to stretch. You have no idea on how you can reach it. It should be big, a little scary, and very exciting. Paradigm shift is required. For you to be able to achieve C-type goals, you must destroy the terror barrier. You must destroy fear or, intimidation. You must be committed. You must be intentional. You must focus your passion, your energy. So when you are setting goals, ask yourself, am I setting type A goals, B or C? The type A goals, you can easily achieve that. Type B with a little stretching, but type C required more stretching. And that's why it's a little scary. And it will excite you because it's what you really want to do. So goal setting actually revolves around these 9 areas of life. This is the wheel of life used by coaches. So you're either setting goal concerning your health, concerning career, your finances, how you manage your time, your relationship, how you want to give back or have fun. So this is a tool to help us to explore, where are we now? We can actually use this tool to know where we are and where we want it to be. It can guide us in goal setting. So speaking now to clarity in goal setting, if I need to clarify goal setting, most people don't achieve their goals because the goals are vague. Where do I want to be by the end of 2025? I want to change my job. I want to get married. I want to buy a car. I want to buy a land. Where do I want to be? Then the next question after that, clarity is critical. Don't just dream. You know, you need to, your dream must align with where you want to be. Fantasize, where do I want to be? Also, where am I now? With all the things I plan to achieve in 2025, where am I now? You don't just think about all these things. You need to get a journal, get a note, jot up, put everything down. Where am I now? And lastly, what do I need to do from today? Don't delay until tomorrow. Goal setting or achievement of goal does not know weekend. You know, it's just that the days are counting. By the time you sleep and wake up tomorrow, we're already on the 12th of January. And before we know it, we're in mid-month and, you know, end of the month. So to be able to, clarity, most people miss it because when setting goals, there's no clarity. So clarity is critical if you want to achieve your goal. Now I will give an example of clarity in setting goals. Number one, if I want to set goals regarding my income, the question I will ask myself is, if life was perfect, what will my income be? So let me give an example, maybe income 5 million per month. So how do I want to achieve it? Is it through the same career I'm pursuing, or do I need a career change? Is it through the same position I occupy today, or will I need to change my position or be promoted? You know, is it through my salary? Do I need to, you know, have businesses that I'm doing that is bringing residual income for me to be able to, you know, increase my income before the end of the year 2025? A goal without a plan is just a wish. So you need to identify the goal and plan how you intend to achieve the goal. Else, the income will still be the same, you know, by the time the year 2025 is ending. Still looking at clarity in goals, the family person. If I want to set goals concerning my family, how is my relationship with my husband and children? How do I want it to be? How is my lifestyle? Is my lifestyle supporting my family life? You know, the kind of a person I am I grateful, you know, for the little things I see God doing? Because if I'm not, if I keep complaining, it will affect me and affect all the people around me. How is our communication in my family? Do we communicate effectively, or do I need to improve my communication? Do we spend time together, especially for Lagosians? Do we have time for one another? Or father is going, you know, to the left, mother to the right, the children to the east, you know? And how do I want it to be by the end of the year? What about time with the children? What do we have time together, you know, maybe time to go out together, or just time just to be alone, you know? What is required for us to be able to achieve our goal is discipline and consistency, but you must be able to clarify what exactly you want to achieve. Also, I want to set goals on health. Am I overweight? I need to accept my reality. What do I need to do? You know, do I need to do more exercises? How do I increase my energy level? What about my nutrition? Am I eating healthy? You know, am I consistent in my fitness, whatever I do to keep fit? Then do I sleep well? You know, am I stressed? You know, those are all the things that affect health. Do I need an accountability partner that we can be doing exercise with so that, you know, I can be fit? So you don't focus on your reality when you are clarifying, you know, your goals. Because fear, anxiety, and failure, you know, will actually come into your mind. Rather, you need to visualize and focus on where you want to go. And let that consume you more than your current reality. And last example is, if life was perfect, what would my net worth be? I want to be wealthy. So what am I doing to be wealthy? Do I have investments? Am I investing in real estate? What kind of investment am I doing? Do I even have savings? Or am I neck deep in debt? Do I budget, and do I spend in line with my budget, or I just spend the way the money comes? So because goal setting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. For you to be able to achieve your goal, you must stay flexible. Don't set rigid goals. If your goals are too stretchy and it's creating stress for you, make it flexible, make it agile. You can actually, update your goals, be kind to yourself. And when you notice any little win, you celebrate your achievement so that can encourage you to do more. So we need to break down our goals. So like, if for someone who is a career person, you want more income, what you do is either you get promoted. So you need to ask yourself, what do I need to do different to get promotion? How will I add more value to my organization that would warrant promotion? Or you need to get a better job. So it's time to revamp my CV and do my LinkedIn visibility so that recruiters can see me, so that I can get a better job where I will be paid more. Or I need to do purposeful networking, better collaboration with who, how, when, that is very important. So when you are documenting your goals, you are, putting all these tiny details. Or I want to start the business in my career. Like someone said, that there is business in everybody's career. And that's the entrepreneurship. Some of us just focus on that career. I go and come and, I collect salary. And you don't even consider the business side of your career. So if there is business in your career, what is the business? How do I do it? How do I start? And you document all that in your goals. In setting goals, time is critical. You need to prepare before the time comes. Your feelings, your focus, your passion, your intention, your belief system, everything must move you closer to your goal. That goal must actually consume you so that you will refuse to be distracted by whatever is happening around you. The most important 2025 goals that we need to set. Don't set 10 goals. Because if you set 10 goals, that's failure from the beginning. You won't be able to achieve 10 goals in 1 year. So at least 3 to 4 goals, it's okay for the year, so that your goal will not stress you. Write it down. Don't just think my goals are in my head. No, there are a lot of things on your head. When you think and write and you say, you are activating your visual and audio power. You think through it, you document, and you are confessing. You say it, and you will see it coming to pass. So you need to break down your goals. So after you have written the goal for the whole year, break it down quarterly, monthly, weekly.
I say I'm on God this year. It's not.
Please help us mute that person, please. Identify the 3 critical goals you want to focus on this year. And set a deadline for yourself. Don't forget, there will be obstacles. Your subconscious mind will sabotage you because of fear of failure. Remember, 80% of obstacles that we experience in life are within, while the remaining 20% comes from outside. If you have goals to achieve more and you lack skills, you lack discipline, you are fearful, you have anxiety. So list it down and look for how to overcome all those negativity so that you can achieve your goal. Like I said, have a list, have a plan, Nobody achieves anything in life without self-discipline, even including Otedola or Dangote. They are all disciplined. So nobody will achieve goals, any goal, without you having self-discipline habits. Your goal must align with your purpose and your value. Then plan in advance. Don't just enter a month accidentally. Don't just wake up and say, oh my God, we're already in February. No, before February comes, look at what you have documented for the month of January. Which ones have you achieved? Which ones are you carrying over? It's not an offense to carry over a goal, you know, if you have not achieved it. For many years, I wanted to do certification in coaching, but because the money was in dollars, I couldn't afford it due to school fees. So I carried over that goal for about 2 years. And as I was, you know, still waiting to get money, I started looking for what I could do that won't cost me so much money. So I did some 10,000 online training, preparing myself. Then I got someone to help me design a website. Maybe that one cost like 100 or 150,000. I was waiting for when I will have capacity to achieve my goal, you know, before I was able to achieve that. So don't, you know, every successful person you see, they have self-discipline and they plan. Then visualize your goal. If you cannot see it in the eye of your mind, you won't be able to achieve it. Track your progress. How am I doing? Like I said before, celebrate little wins. Follow your list. Prioritize. Concentrate until you achieve 100%. Measure yourself from time to time and do adjustments. For you to achieve your goals, I'm actually going towards the end of the presentation. You need to create a system around your goal. Anything you don't create a system around in life, it will be difficult for you to achieve it. Create a system, write it down, identify current patterns. What has hindered you in previous years from achieving your goal? Write it down. What do you need to do? Are you moving with people who don't have goals? It will be difficult for you to achieve your goal. So maybe you need to change your circle. And like I said, don't lump everything together. Start with one goal at a time. Keep it simple. Be honest with yourself. You can deceive everybody, but you cannot deceive yourself. Remember, time is critical. Your results will show whether you are actually achieving your goals or not. You need to prepare for time before it comes. Prepare for your week before your week comes. Prepare for your month before you enter the month. Then push in your feelings, your focus, your intention, you know, towards your goal. Consistency is very important. Be consistent and you will see yourself achieving those goals. If you don't achieve your goals, you can set new deadlines. There are no unreasonable goals. So if I say this year, I want to buy a house in Banana Island, somebody can say it's not reasonable. There are no unreasonable goals. What we have is just that if I don't achieve that goal, I can move my deadline. That's okay, I couldn't achieve it in 2025. What do I need to do in the next 3-4 years for me to have a house in Banana Island? Don't forget, if you keep everything in your head, a lot of things are actually, you know, in that head. So you need to have a planner, maybe on your phone or somewhere. Plan your months in advance. Plan your week before you enter the week. Discipline is critical. Develop self-discipline. Every successful person globally is disciplined. Your goal does not care if you are on a weekend or you're on a holiday. So you just need to do what you need to do to be able to achieve it. In conclusion, your goal, you must inject feelings into your goal. Take control of your life and shape it to align with your values and goals. Refuse to settle for mediocrity. Refuse to live 2025 the way you live 2024. Make a move and take a risk. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Thank you.
Wasn't that amazing? That was beautiful. At a point in time, I forgot that I'm supposed to be moderating this
You're the
session. I found
moderator.
myself taking notes. I just had to. There were too many key points. What's that thing we used to use back in school? The key points for maths or key points for, you know, some short abridged things. There were so many in this session. I mean, the one that really stood out for me right now, I don't know about other people in the chat, was goal setting isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Coach Wesley, thank you very much. This was truly, truly nice. It was very, very good. And I'm sure that our audience, they share these sentiments. There was something that you mentioned when you were speaking. You talked about having your personal theme for the year. I just thought to remind our participants that hashtags are not just for weddings. So what's your hashtag for 2025? I think I can share mine. Mine started with hashtag be intentional. And I think in the newsletter for my organization for this year, I shared that with them too. So what's your hashtag? Can you flood the chat section with what your hashtag for this year is? Okay. While you're doing that, I'd also like you to put in the chat section whatever questions you might have for Coach Wesley. We are constrained for time, but we should be able to accommodate 1 or 2 questions. While you're the hashtag exercise can be ongoing, but we're also looking out in the chat sections for any questions you might have had from the session. Okay, so yes, thank you, Dola, for hashtag break barriers. That's a beautiful thing, very intentional. Break barriers, whether real or imagined.
Follow me on Instagram.
Oh, Farida, yours is also intentional. Great. Great. We have plenty on that table. Okay. So we're waiting for questions. While we continue to wait for some questions, Coach Wesley, I do have one of my own. You know, when we were talking about the
Let's mute everybody. Let's mute and unmute everybody.
Okay, I think we should do that back end. I've been trying to do that, but I don't think I have that right.
So you can go on.
Yes, I'd like us to take 1 or 2 questions before we introduce our second speaker. Oh, wow, I'm loving all the hashtags though. Hashtag the year of endless possibilities. Vivian does not do anything in small measures. Mercy says hashtag go for more. Yes, so there's always more. Hashtag visible progress. I like that one. Let it not be progress that only you can see in your heart. Let it be visible for all to see and appreciate. Okay. Am I to assume that there are no questions? This session was too good for you not to have questions. So there's one that is burning in my heart. It said there's nothing like an unreasonable goal. You know, when we're talking about IC goals. I had just put it there, you know, as one of my notes that how then do you differentiate between these stretch goals and goals that people will say that you are overreaching, as in like in our local parlance, you are about to do more than yourself. As in like, how do you differentiate between real stretch goals and, I don't want to use the word impossible goals because you have already said there are no impossible goals, there are no unreasonable goals. But if you understand what I mean, Coach Wesley, would you tell us how you can tell the difference between, well, what you call stretch goals and what some people might call pipe dreams?
Well, because your goal is yours. Your goal is yours. You don't really need you know, other people's approval. Your goal is yours. Dangote had a goal while working in his uncle's organization, and we see him achieving that today. But somebody else that was working with him that time may think you are crazy. How are you going to take over this business? It's not even your father's business. But today, he's a global figure because you know, he pursued that goal. Otedola pursued goal to buy First Bank. and
True.
today is the owner of First Bank. So
Awesome.
those are goals, you know.
Awesome.
If I can't say your goal is not reasonable, because what you are seeing, I cannot see it.
Okay. All right. Hold on a bit. Okay, so that's the perfect answer. It's my goal. I am the one who knows why it's been placed in my heart, and I'm the one who knows my calling and my purpose, or I have identified my purpose, so I know why this is my goal. All right, let me check the chat session quickly to see if we have, okay, yes, I have a question from Julie, and she's asking, can we have a frame or model for goal setting?
So if you go to Canva, you have a lot of templates for goal setting. Just go, sign into Canva if you have not, used Canva before. All it requires is just your email address. You have thousands of goal setting templates, and that will actually help you so that you don't need to be the one to improvise. They're already available online.
Okay, great. I see our second speaker is already here. All right, but just before we introduce her and we go on to the other session, I'd like you to know that the chat section is open. You can type in your questions. You can type in whatever questions that you have. There are no silly questions here. These are all real things that we really want to know or need to know to position us better to take advantage of 2025. Once again, Coach Westy, I'd like to tell you thank you. Of course, you're not gone. You're right there with us in the background. But I would like to address our audience before we continue. If you like what you just heard, that makes several of us. I have good news for you too. Our next speaker, like I mentioned earlier, is here, but before we bring her up, just before we bring her up to better introduce you guys to the things you need to do more of and stop doing to be able to take advantage of 2025, I'd like us to take a few minutes, to catch a whiff of something else that is cooking in Coach Westy's kitchen. Okay, like I said before, this is something she's been doing for quite a bit, and this goal setting webinar is just one of it. And sometime between the months of February and May, we're going to be having the mastermind coaching class for career success. Okay, if the slide for that can come up now, I'd appreciate it. This particular class, like I said, is running from February to May. They're not just classes, they're also going to be practical coaching sections, and it's going to cover topics in depth. Right, what we're doing right now is just 2 hours on a Saturday, the 11th, but it's going to be in depth. You're going to have topics on defining your purpose, overcoming limiting beliefs, and applying self-assessment. You're also going to be working on developing career plans, navigating career roadmaps and skill gaps, developing your personal brand, revamping and maximizing your LinkedIn profile for visible. Somebody's hashtag was visible progress. This one for visible identification out there. Okay, aligning your career and life aspirations, the power of resilience, thriving amidst disruptions in the world in general. And of course, the cake topper, like I mentioned before, there will be group coaching and mentoring sessions. I don't know why the slide isn't up, but I'm sure maybe after our second speaker speaks, we could go run through this again. Okay, so all this value will be coming to you from a specially selected crop of erudite practitioners. I call them practitioners because they're not just professionals, but everything they're sharing with you are things that they have applied and they have used and have visible results for it. It will be coming to you at let's just call it a gate fee of 20,000 Naira. I mean, it's real amazing stuff. And this is for February February down to May. So we have how many months? February, March, April, May. I mean, enough time within the first half of this year for you to extract value. Okay, so it's time for me to introduce our next speaker, and her name is Nneka Jethro Irobe. She is the only happy employee coach I know. Okay, I don't know about you, but she's the only one that I know. And if you follow her on the streets of LinkedIn, I'm sure you would have gotten enough nuggets that would have helped you, you know, to win, you know, in the world of work, admin office politics, what people, village people, black tax, name it, there's nothing she doesn't cover on those streets. But just for a bit of background, Nneka is an associate director with a professional services firm in Lagos, Nigeria. She's also an expert HR professional, and she's enjoyed her work and career of over 15 years in one of the most challenging environments, and most importantly, has thrived. She believes that you deserve and can learn to be happy at work if you master managing your manager and multiplying your money. Okay? She firmly believes that until employees master their money and can leverage their salaries to build wealth, they could never truly be happy at work and achieve the highest levels of productivity at work. Of course, she's married, and she's a product of office romance. You know, back then we used to call it internal sourcing. I don't know what it's called now, but that was what we used to call it then. And she has managed to combine marriage, motherhood, ministry, and money making. How many M's? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 M's in this adventurous journey of life. She's also an author and has published the best-selling Find It Bible Games with over 10,000 copies sold. We are indeed privileged to have her in our midst, and I would love you all with a riotous virtual applause to welcome Nneka Jethro Irobe as she takes us through how to achieve a harmonious work-life balance and find your motivation and focus. Nneka, if you're here, I would appreciate, oh yes, she's right here and she's taking over. So I will move into the background.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this warm introduction. Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you to Coach West for this opportunity. Please let me know if you can hear me, and please manage my voice. I was speaking to Coach Abike this morning and she was like, hey, what happened to your voice? I said, well, this is what it is. I was supposed to be in a session this morning. I had to say, you know what, I need to stay home and give this voice a chance to be able to function this evening. So here we are. Let me know that you can hear me, call and see me.
We can, Nneka. Thank you.
Sorry?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Ma, for the opportunity. Thank you for the warm welcome. I am so excited to be here this evening. First speaking engagement for the year. And to be honest, I think my manager should be here somewhere. I was saying to her that she assists me as a happy employee coach that, oh my goodness, I'm looking at this topic and I'm asking myself, why me? And she said to me, oh yes, because it's you. And I'm like, okay, there must be something that Coach Wesley saw, you know, that made her to say, okay, Nneka, I think you can deliver, and helping us frame our 2025. To be honest, I was like, oh gosh, I want to be in my comfort zone. But I realized that, you know, my comfort zone is teaching people about finances, you know, teaching people how to ace handling their managers and stuff. And I was like, goal setting, I'm not much of the traditional goal setting person. I'm not much of that person. So I'm like, okay, but people always ask me, how have you achieved the things you've achieved? So I thought, okay, maybe that's the story I should just share with you all this afternoon, right? Or this evening, depending on where you are. How have I become who I've become, you know, so to say? And that's what I want to share with you this afternoon, right? So I've said the only goals you should set in 2025, and as part of the teaching on transforming your life in 2025. I love quotes, maybe because my life coach is very big on quotes. And this one I heard 2 days ago. 2 days ago, yes, right? Your size and your speed in life is determined by your sight. Your size and your speed in life is determined by your sight. and it's marked me, and I pray it continues to mark me. I'm a person of faith, I'm a Christian, and so I'm going to be sharing a lot from that perspective. But I'm going to be sharing with you life principles that have made me who I am today, and my story as well, infused in this. The truth of the matter is that how you see yourself, right, determines who you become. How you see yourself determines who you become. That is so critical. What you see of yourself, right? What you see of yourself is so critical in determining who you become. If you are not intentional, right? Like the things that, as Isiamaka mentioned in my introduction, if you're not intentional about how you see yourself, those things that you heard in my introduction would only have come to be because I saw myself in those places, but also because of the kind of people I surround myself with. And I'm going to be sharing the things that have worked for me. Honestly, what you're going to be hearing from me this afternoon or this evening is really what has worked for me and brought me to where I am today. Another quote I really like, I came across it about 4 or 5 months ago, is life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. Maybe because I just turned 40, I don't know. But I've come into owning this quote so much, understanding the power of choices. Many of us undermine how powerful we are. We're not even aware that we have power. We let life just life away, and we think that we just life away, and life is happening to us. You have so much power. I'm sitting into this realization more and more often, more recently, and I'm realizing that it's a choice up to me to get up in the morning and go and work out. It's a choice up to me. It's really about choices. Where you are today is really about the choices you make. You are creating yourself. It's less about finding yourself and more about creating this self. It's more about listening to the rhythms of your inner self and saying, what am I telling me about me? What am I telling me about my tomorrow? And how am I going to frame the lessons I'm learning from myself? How am I going to listen to my inner self and begin to leave that inner self out? Right? I'm a very interactive teacher. So as I teach, I'm going to pause and ask you to share with me, right, what is resonating with you. So let me know in the comments. Is this beginning to make sense to you already in terms of how you're going to transform your life? Is this beginning to make sense? Let me know in the comments. Is this beginning to make sense with you so far? There's a power of choice, and then there's the fact that really we create ourselves, to be honest. And who you become is really about how you see yourself. Who you become is really, really about how you see yourself. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? Right? And so if you're going to transform your life in 2025, it's really about who you're becoming. So let me know if you're beginning to get light, if this is looking interesting for you, and if you are here for us to get going on this journey. Fantastic. Great stuff. All right, so I'm going to be sharing mindsets on transforming my life, what I've done, what has helped me so far. And one of the quotes I also like is this one by James Clear, right? The author of Atomic Habits. And if you haven't read that book, I consider it a powerful resource, right? I consider it a powerful resource. If you haven't read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, please do yourself a service, right? Gift yourself. Yes, it's a gift you should give to yourself. Gift yourself. Just going through the contents page alone on that book will shake something for you, will transform something for you. So do yourself a favor and get that book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It will show you the power of small, consistent action. The things we do day on day is what transforms us into powerhouses, is what transforms our lives into notable lives of influence, is what you do on a daily basis. It's not big action. Like someone said, it's not the intensity of the first time, it's consistency over time. Someone should write that for us. It's not the intensity of the first time, but it's consistency over time. Somebody should write that for us in the comments. It is not intensity of the first time, but consistency over time. And while we are here, if you haven't followed me on LinkedIn and on Instagram, do well to just go and search the Happy Employee Coach on LinkedIn. Trust me, like Isiamaka said, there's extreme value across the entire value chain of your career. You will get stuff to help you in your personal and your professional life, around managing your money, around multiplying your money, around managing your boss to elevate your career. You're managing your boss to elevate your career. You get a lot of value there. So if you've not followed me on LinkedIn yet, do well to do that right now. Search the Happy Employee Coach and you would get that. Yes, thank you. It's not the intensity of the first time or consistency over time. That's what yields the most amazing results. All right, so let's get this done. My introduction has been read. I've written 3 books for career professionals, right? Why your boss prefers your colleague, who you should know to succeed at work, and who is using your salary. why your boss prefers your colleague, who you should know to succeed at work, and who is using your salary. I'll talk more about those, but if you go to my page on LinkedIn, you will get how to access those books. All right. So do well to do that. My intro has been read. I won't spend time with this. The first thing for me that I've done to transform my own life is to accept that change is hard. Change is hard. Change is hard. I came more into this realization last year or 2 years ago, and I began to own it. Like, change is hard. Like, if they say start drinking water regularly, you're gonna go through a transition to get there. And let's just own it. Like, I think that the self-awareness and the acceptance that I'm going to go through a learning curve to do anything new, just accepting it reduces the resistance. Being aware upfront that if I want to do something new, I'm going to struggle in the beginning. I'm going to go through a learning curve. I'm going to go through a process of becoming is the first step for me to transforming your life anytime, right? Just accepting that fact. Just accepting that fact that you're going to go through a process, a learning curve. It's not going to fall on you. You're not going to wake up and just get it. No, you are going to grow. You're not going to wake up and just get it. You are going to grow into it, right? You're not going to wake up and just get it. You're going to grow into it. So powerfully thinking and a realization to have. All right. So for me, I think that's the first thing. You're going to transform your life. You've got to come into an acceptance that change is hard. And I shared the story of my son entering secondary school last year. And I'm an HR professional, right? So the change management expert, teaching people what to do. But I realized that sitting into the understanding of this for our person, just like when they say a doctor is his own worst patient, right? Sitting to the realization of of this fact, I found I had to go through an acceptance. And I said to my son, I said to him, well, we are going through change and it's going to be demanding on us. And he says to me, oh no, mommy, but you've already gone through secondary school already. How is that going to be hard for you? I said, well, this is my first time having my child in secondary school. And so I'm learning what it means to have a child in secondary school. I was like, oh, okay, mommy. And what that did for both of us, I did for him, but more for me, is help me understand that there's going to be pressure, but we're going to grow through it and get me into that place of being self-aware. So up front, there are things you want to do. Up front, there are goals you may have set for yourself. But understanding that you're going to go through a learning curve and accepting it and being willing to push yourself to go through and put in that work is critical. Let me hear it in the comments. I accept that change is hard. Let me hear it in the comments. I accept that change is hard. I accept that change is hard. Let me see it in the comments. I accept that change is hard. I accept that change is hard. Let me see it in the comments. You understand that change is hard. You're not going to lose weight and it's going to be easy. Nah, you're not. You're going to go through a learning curve. You're going to go through a learning curve. You're going to have to change how you think about stuff. If you are going to go through any change or transform your life, it's not going to fall on you. No, it's not. All right. So that for me is the first thing. If you're going to transform your life, the second thing is to recognize and accept your season. I think that is one of the most powerful things for people to come into. And I share this when I speak to women, and I know that there are both women and men on the call, but I think that many of us struggle with just understanding that, hey, we are all going through different seasons in life. If I do have somebody who has older children who are out of the house, I can't compare myself to that person. If you have someone who has children who are above 10 years old and you have a baby, you've got to just own the reality of the life that you have as a woman. And as a man, if you have someone who has their father or their mother alive versus someone who doesn't, the realities are going to be different. If you're somebody who is in your 40s and someone who is in their 60s, the parenting that you have is different. What you're going through, if you're going through early stage in your career and you have somebody who is more advanced, accepting your seasons is so critical. Right? So don't go looking at someone and saying, oh, they have 4 books, they have 5 books. That means I want to write 4 books in 1 year. That may not be the season of life that you are in. So you must sit in and say, okay, I have younger children. Oh, I've just relocated, for example. I've left one country to the other. That season requires a lot of change. It requires a lot of acculturation. It requires a lot of adaptation. That's just the fact of the season of life that you are in. And you've got to own it. These are the things that I have gone through, right, and accepted to help me become who I am today, right? And those are things I intend to hold close as I continue my journey of transformation, because I've just gotten started. right? As I continue journey of transformation, I've got to own these. Okay, this is who I am, and I am on a journey. You've got to own it. Change is hard. That's number one. And then number two is that there are seasons in life, and we are all going through different seasons in life. And each season in life you're going through will be different. You just got married. Hey, you just went through a life-changing situation. Oh, you lost a parent, you lost a sibling, you lost a spouse. You're gonna have to, you lost, you had a breakup, you just gotten into a new job. That may not be the time to be saying, no, I want to write 2 books. That's the time to look at your first 90 days and say, how am I going to establish that I'm a good hire, as an example. So you've got to accept that we go through different life seasons. So sit and ask yourself, what is the season of life I'm going through now? Personally, what am I going through now? Very, very critical. If you're going to transform your life, you've got to own your seasons. Okay? The third thing for me is harnessing the power of choice. And there's something that I heard Coach Wesley say when I joined about motivation. That's discipline. That's what is important. You've got to harness the power of choice. Understand that I have the choice to is the languaging. I have the choice to. I have the choice to make my life great. I have the choice to be healthy. I have the choice to be wealthy. I have the choice to be happy. How are you using your time? And if we are going to unpack this question of time, my goodness, we'll be here for a bit. I will mention some things when I teach people about, how they transform their lives. One of the things I say is we are such a generation of passive consumers and social media rather than being active creators. We are such a people that are big on passively consuming instead of actively creating. We are there scrolling through and scrolling through and scrolling through instead of saying, who's going to read my own? Who's going to watch me? Right? And you've got to ask yourself this year, if I'm truly going to transform my life, I've got to be intentional with how I use my time on social media, off social media. How am I becoming? Who am I becoming? What am I using my time to do? I am so powerful. Many of us as human beings we are naturally laid back and what I would call lethargic and borderline lazy, if I'm being honest. Borderline lazy. And when I say lazy, I'm not saying that you don't go to work every day. I'm saying, how much time do you spend consuming? How much time do you spend creating? The genius that's on your inside, how are you bringing it out to bear for us as those around you to experience? How is that going for you? You've got to harness the power of choice. You have so much power in you. There's so much potential in you. There's so much power in you to turn your life around. I shared the story when I teach about this, about 2 guys born by the same father who was a drunkard, and one ended up in prosperity, the other one ended up in prison. And when they asked both of them said it was their father's fault. And then you begin to ask yourself, yeesh, how is that your father's fault? And you have 2 different results. Well, one person decided to leverage their father's penury and turn to prosperity and say, I would not look like this. And the other person said, well, this is the only thing my father gave me. That's how my life is going to turn out. You have so much power of choice in you. The question is, how are you going to leverage that? You can choose to sit and complain, or you can choose to sit and create. You can choose to sit and be sad, or you can choose to sit and share and grow. I say to people that it's easier to Netflix and chill than to network and grow. How are you using LinkedIn? One of the things I heard Amaka mention was in Coach Wesley's program about your personal brand and visibility. You've got to get in the reps, my friend. You've got to get in the reps, my friend. If you're going to grow, you've got to choose every day to get the reps in. What am I learning today? How am I changing today? How am I metamorphosing today? All right, very important. Review your circle of influence. If you're going to transform your life in 2025, review your circle of influence. Review your circle of influence. Review your circle of influence. Look at social media timeline. Look at your friendships. Review who are those that influence you. When I teach people, about transforming their lives, especially around their finances, I ask them to go and do a social media audit, sanitize your social media timeline. Who are you following? I tell people that I curate my social media timeline as a learning platform. Before I go to scroll through 2 or 3 posts, I've learned something. I've prayed about something. I've worshiped God about something. I am very intentional about what is on my social media timeline. Are you intentional? Or like they say, anywhere belle face? What are you doing with social media timeline? Let me know if this is making sense so far for you. What's hitting you so far? Let me know in the comments. What are you picking so far? What are you picking so far? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to be sure that you're here, you're picking something. What are you picking so far? Let me know in the comments. What are you picking so far? Am I getting messages in the comments? Let's see. Yeah, to be intentional. I can be who I want to be. Choice is mine to make. Fantastic. I want to be sure that we're here. So I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. What are you learning so far as we're teaching? What are you learning so far? I see we are live on YouTube. I don't know if anybody's there that can just, commute to us the lessons from there, but let me hear from you. Borderline lazy, that has got you thinking. Fantastic. We've got to ask. I remember the first time I heard that in my heart, and I was like, nah, I can't be lazy. I'm married. I'm working a big 4 XYZ. But now I look back and I realize I was wasting so much time and potential. I got busier, I got a larger family, but I got more productive with my time. I began to honor my time differently. I began to honor my time. Yes, using social media intentionally, intentional with your choices. Fantastic. So yes, I really want to hear your comments as we progress. Review your circle of influence. Elevate your friendships. What are your friendships adding to you? What are you adding to your friendships? Very important. I talk about transforming your life. Like they say, you are some of the top 5 influences in your life. So you've got to be intentional. Yes, there are seasons in life. How are you using your time? I tell people that I wrote my first book that now went on to become 2 books that have crossed 10,000 copies. The first book I wrote it in traffic, in transit, to and through the office. So how are you using your travel time? How are you using your travel time? Very critical. Very critical as we have this conversation. Okay? As I go on, I know we'll have questions. Please get your questions ready to ask. Number 5 tip for me is to get coached or mentored. That has been what has transformed my life. I take coaching seriously. I take listening to the right voices seriously. And even without sitting down necessarily to set goals and of saying I want to be an author, just watching those ahead of me has been powerful in creating results in my life. Coaching helps you to ride on someone else's success. Like you literally have a step on them and you're able to ride on their success. My book, Why Your Boss Prefers Your Colleague and Who's Using Your Salary, I created it as a 2-in-1 book. Again, a reminder, if you don't follow me on LinkedIn, what are you doing? Go and search the happy employee, on LinkedIn, right? And just click the follow button. Click the follow button. Click the follow button, right? Okay, so I just by following my mentors, just by seeing what they did, one of my mentors had written a book in similar formats. All right, and I just used that format, so I didn't have to go too far. Just by seeing and hanging around this particular person, I was very able and easily able to just take what they had done and create it for myself, right? So you've got to ask yourself, how am I being intentional about being coached and mentored? Being coached and mentored allows you to ride on someone's success. One of the things I think is so powerful is that it helps you to see believable reference. You have to see, okay, if this person can do it, then I can as well. And I think that's what life is designed to be, which is why a child starts trying to stand and crawl, because the person comes out of the womb And after a while, because people are moving with this thing called that is below me on my legs. How do I move? So I believe strongly that life is designed that way for us to be able to copy others, right? I'm not saying copy everything they do. As you copy them, you find your own genius, but there's a stirring in you by watching others. And so I'm very intentional about coaching and getting mentored. If you're going to transform your life, you look at somebody, look at what they are doing, it resonates with what you think your future should look like, and then you key into it to become who it is that you have been designed to be, to unlock your genius. All right, very critical on talking about coaching and getting mentored. You must be intentional about that if you are going to transform your life ever, right? For me, I feel like a coach and a mentor gives you hindsight on your tomorrow. So your tomorrow is ahead of you, but they are ahead, and they can give you hindsight so you can leverage what they have done. Let me know if that makes sense for you in terms of coaching and mentoring, that it can give you hindsight that you can leverage to become. It's so important. There's so much to unpack once you are able to lean on and lean into the successes that others have been able to achieve. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to take that step in investing in certain circles that will elevate your life experiences, right? That will make your life experiences make more sense, that will give you a leverage. I promise you that sometimes you're getting the right mentor and getting the right circle is in all you need. Getting the right mentor, getting the right circle is sometimes all you need to get your goals right. Is all you need to move your life from where it is now to huge transformation come December 2025. All right. Another thing I'd like to leave with you today is to become your own number one advocate. Deploy your power of agency. You've got to recognize the genius that you are and choose to deploy that genius to the world. You've got to believe that there's greatness on your inside and that the world needs it. Literally, the world needs the genius that you are. You have to believe that. I can't believe that more for you than you believe for yourself. I say to people that if you've got to say I am for anybody to say thou art. I call myself the happy employee coach, and people call me that. When I first started with that, people used to say, happy and employee. It used to almost be like a paradox, right? You know, like, should we be saying happy and employee in the same sentence? Right? So you've got to be intentional about this. You've got to pay attention to this, becoming your number one advocate. There's greatness on your inside. You have got to believe it first. It's when you believe it that you can show it to us. And when we see it, then we reckon with you. When we see it, then we reckon with you. Before you can transform, though, I recommend that you retreat and review. And like Coach had said, there are many templates that you can use, right? And there are many free templates. I've used one by my own coach, DDK. I've used one to just sit back my first time, over 10 key areas. And one of the things that is beautiful things about reviewing your year is that it shows you areas to celebrate and areas to correct. It shows you areas to celebrate and areas to correct. And for me, because I'm generally a bit more melancholy and I can be hard on myself, I find that I focus much on areas to correct. But when you do a proper review, it helps you to see, oh, I didn't do so badly. Oh, I have been hard on myself. Yes, there are opportunities. Yes, there are things I could have done differently. But yeah, I did do some things well. And even when you haven't done things well, at least your eyes are open to where you can make change. All right, so I recommend asking yourself 3 questions, and I will show you around what I think are some 5 thematic areas that you can ask yourself this question. Ask yourself, what did I do well? Ask yourself, what did I not do well? And then ask yourself, what will I start doing? What did I do well? Celebrate your wins. It's not all bad. No matter how hard 2024 was for you, it's not all bad. There are things you're able to scale through on. So what did I do well? And then what did I not do well? And then what will I start doing? Right? And I recommend that you ask those questions around these 5 areas: your faith, family, finances, friendships, and fitness. And someone will say, what of career and business? I have put career and business under finances, right? So your faith, your relationship with God, your family, relationship with your family, your spouse, your kids, your siblings, in-laws, right? Finances, for me, I would put your career and business there. And then your friendships, those that impact your life, your circle of influence, and then fitness, right? Your health. You need your body to be healthy to be able to even say you want to achieve goals, right? So this is something I think these are the 5 thematic areas I think you should pay attention to crown and craft a year that is beautiful. All right. As we make progress today, the only goals I think you need to set, if you want to review the kind of goals you need to set, I've shared 4 things that should characterize the goals you need to set. One is goals that resonate with your future self. So you're asking yourself, who am I going? Who am I? Who am I really? I got to sit down and think about it. You have been called certain things, but deep down in your inside, who do you say? Who does your inside? Who does your soul tell you that you are? Sit down and write that down, and let that frame the kind of goals you set for yourself. What's your core identity? At the core of who you are, what are your passions? What resonates with you? What makes you tick? Right? What makes you tick? Very, very critical. Okay? Goals that fit with your current season. I'm very big on the issue of paying attention to your season. So where you are today, right? What you can accommodate today. Okay? Don't go writing down a list of 21 things you want to change. Doesn't work that way. Goals that fit and align with your current season are very, 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 very critical. Very, very critical. All right? Few goals that you can truly focus on. It's not about having a plethora of goals. You want to do 27 things. You want to do 10 things. If it's 3 things you want to do that will make a difference in your life, right? Let it be those 3 things. I want to get certified in a particular area. I want to be able to, lose weight if that's for you. I want to be able to spend XYZ amount of time per week reading, I want to spend amount of time per week with family. Have few goals. In fact, one of the things I'm learning is having goals per quarter, right? I want to do this for a quarter, and when I get this done, I cross over into something else. All right, my view on goals you need to set. And then fourthly, goals that protect your financial future. Financial goals are critical. And financial goals are more about behavior, how you behave around money. How do you behave around money? In fact, that's an idea for me right there to write for a post. How do I behave around money? Does money have an upper hand in my life? Do I allow money to influence everything? Okay, here's a resource that you can have access to help you begin to behave differently around money. Right? It will help you to begin to behave differently around money. It's a budgeting template that I've designed and I've used for at least the last 13 plus years. This is how I plan my own salary, month in, month out. I'm very intentional. Over 3,500 downloads by now, and I'm sure. And what it does, it just helps you to be able to plan your money month on month. It helps you to take decisions that elevate you, helps you to track your expenses, right? I'm a financial coach, and so I help people in that aspect, okay? If you want to be able to win financially and build wealth, especially for those who are employees on this call, I recommend highly that you follow me and you get this resource. Also get the book, Why Your Boss Prefers Your Colleague and Who Is Using Your Salary. It will help your experience going forward, right? So you can order this here, Why Your Boss Prefers Your Colleague, Who's Using Your Salary. Get these books to help to elevate the game in your career in 2025, okay? Here, this final quote for you. Time is an asset once spent cannot be retrieved. If you're not intentional with how we use 2025 starting today, once Saturday, 11th of January is over, it's gone. We cannot come back to today. So what I achieve with today stays with me for life. How I use today stays with me for life, right? Very, very important, okay? So these are the things I need to share with you today. And I think we can take some questions, but I'll hand over back to Eziamaka. And then we'll just take it from there. Again, if you've not followed me yet, do well to follow me on LinkedIn. I see some of you coming in. Some of us are not coming in yet, but do well to click the follow button and be happy to transform 2025 together. Over to you, Eziamaka.
Thank you, Nneka. That was, I'm looking for the right words here. English, help me. That was as short as it was loaded. It was from start to finish, the only goals you need. As in, many things are attractive, but it's just a few things you need. And you gave us right spot on just the things that we need as we start this beautiful new year. I mean, as in, like I said, I was just taking my notes. You'll be surprised with what resonated with me. You can choose to Netflix and chill or network and grow. I don't know why that just stuck in my head, because it's so easy to Netflix and chill, especially with what you perceive to be spare time, which was another table you shook. You know, that time, the question of time and how powerful it is as a resource. A lot of people underrate it. We think about our money, we think about our qualifications, but we rarely focus on time. You know, as much as it looks, it's also very, very limited in the sense that, as you rightly pointed out with the last quote, you can't recreate that moment. It's just the memories of it that you would have. Thank you. That was amazing. I'm sure our participants found it equally as amazing. And I'm looking through the sessions for your questions, but would like to thank Nneka so very, very much. Happy employee coach. That was another thing I took. Why do we have happy and employee in the same in the same word? But it's possible and it's doable, and she's showing us how to. Okay, she's showing us how to. So you can follow her on IG, you can follow her on LinkedIn. Her what's it called? Her details are in the chat section, so you can join her. Trust me, I follow her on LinkedIn, and I do know that when a post comes out, there's something that, you know, my life is going to be blessed with. Okay, that would also take me to another table that she managed to shake again. She shook a lot of tables though with this session. The part of the passive consumers versus the active creators. It's so easy to just sit down back there and just flip through the content. Which one are you creating for people also? You know, to know and register that you were here. Stand out in 2025. Food for thought. Think about it. The world is waiting to see that you that you have refused to share with us, or you have been procrastinating sharing with us, or you have been dilly-dallying on. This is a perfect time to start. Not forgetting to recognize and accept your season. Literally, Rome was not built in a day. What you see is the success story, but you do not know. You do not know, like the iceberg, like the iceberg that we see, what is underneath or what has propelled it to where it is. So recognize and accept your season. All right, okay. Oh, we have a few affirmations here and I'm liking it. Mission says, today I will follow. No more procrastination. I'm hoping she means she will follow you on your platforms. Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, thank you for the knock. Okay. Do you have any questions at all? I don't want to believe that this is that kind of session where we passively consume and do not actively create questions. Please, can we have one or two questions? Okay. All right, great. You have actioned that, Miss Song. We see you. We appreciate you. I'm looking through the chat section. Okay. Let me go through my own notes. Okay. We are still processing. You know, we don't have the luxury of time. Unoma, we appreciate the fact that you're processing it, but we do not have that luxury of time. So Nneka, you shared with us like six things that are really needed. But if you could put any kind of emphasis on any particular one of them, which would it be? As in one that probably would be the foundation. If you get this right, you will most likely get one of the other 5 right. Which would that be?
I would say, thank you. Very powerful question. I would say association. Because we are designed to be influenced as human beings. We are designed to be influenced. So I would say there's one thing that has helped me the most. It's who I'm looking at. Like I said, I'm not that person. When people say to me, oh, you must have sat down and had career plan for 5 or 10 years. No, I'm very honest with you. I have never sat down and said I have 5-year plan or I plan to be an author. No, I think the strongest thing for me is influence. the church I go to, my pastors are a huge influence on my life. Those I follow on social media, huge influence on my life. So I see somebody writing a book and I'm like, as someone talking about how they're writing a book, I'm like, okay, I can write a book as well. I'm following somebody and they're saying, oh, this is the course I got into that changed my life. I click on that course, see something that is it true, and I follow. So I think influence for me, if something that I would leave with you to be intentional with in 2025 is influence. Who is influencing you? The first book I will find it Bible Games was simply because my pastor preached and said that package your gift, package your talent. And I kept on saying, what can I package? At the time, I was doing a lot of spoken word poetry, and I was like, people don't buy poem in Nigeria. How am I going to write poem book? And then the idea came, put poems together with puzzles, and it has transformed my life. It has put me on CBN Africa. I couldn't have imagined. It wasn't a goal. In fact, it's so bad that it wasn't a goal that when I finished the interview at CBN Africa and I took pictures, I sent it to one of my mentors. And I said, I know. He said, hey, God has done it for him. I said, I know. It's a goal for you. It wasn't a goal for me. I never sat down and said I wanted to be on an international platform. Never. That's how much I never sat down to do goal setting. But just the right influences pushed me to who I am today. So there's one thing I would leave with anybody is your circle of influence. You are on social media. Use it. Leverage it to shape your life. That's what I would say. Back to you, Yamaka.
Thank you. The thing about having backups, my other network just decided at that point in time to go haywire or go berserk. If not that I had a second system, I wouldn't have known that it is it's from my end, but I did get that. And I believe that our audience also got it, the power of influence. I'm sure that we will be concentrating a whole lot more on that. There's so much more we can actually do together as a community. Iron sharpens iron. And as you know, as we hold hands together and we influence each other, new ideas, we even build on it. Like most scientists that we follow, some of the work that they've done are things that other people started and they build on it because they've been following it. Okay. Okay, I think we have a question in the chat section. It just popped up. Just give me a minute. I'll read it. Okay, so someone asked, that's Miss On, she asked, what keeps you going? You are doing a lot. Same with some of us, and sometimes it could seem too much. So what's it that just keeps you going regardless of how much it looks that you're having to juggle?
I think for me, it is my why.
Nneka, did you get that?
Yes, I did. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, you're
Can
audible.
you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay. I think my why is very important. I believe I have an assignment, right? And I have an assignment in different areas. And knowing that I'm accountable to God for that assignment is something that motivates me to keep going. But also, again, influence. I have people in my circle who are doing even more than I believe I'm doing. And I say to myself, if they're able to do it, then I can. So I used to feel like when I first was going to write my book, Find It Bible Games, I was like, because I don't want to write this book. Biko, I beg, I don't want to write book. After all, I'm already a career woman. I'm already involved in ministry. It was to a lesser extent at the time. And I had 2 kids at the time. Or I had 1 child, but I was not pregnant for the second one. But when I saw that people around me who had more children and were doing the same thing, so influence was what made me believe that and keeps me believing that I can do it. The other thing that helps is scheduling, right? Be intentional with scheduling. You can't do everything at the same time in the same week. Use schedules, right? And delegate. Like I said, my assistant manager is here, business manager is here on the call. I delegate, and it helps me as well too. So, for example, Instagram, if you had messaged me last year, the whole of last year, I'm most likely not the one that directly picked that message, right? She's the one that picked it and engaged with you and stuff. Do you understand? And you will know that I'm not the one. Okay. So sometimes I'm there, but more often than not, she's the one that carried that. So I was able to delegate and get help. So get help. And again, understand your season, right? Last year was a crazy season for me. I went through a lot. So people see me, social media showing up, trust me, it was God helping me, right? And just staying in the place of my comfort of my assignment and doing what I could to deliver. So the things I achieved last year are a shock for me as well, because last year was trying. It was a trying time for me in my personal life, right? So it's really important that you understand that there are seasons, and when you get the same help, right? Get help. Right, my husband was there for me 100%. It helped. Getting support system will be transformational in helping you to achieve some of those things you want to achieve. So that's what I'm going to share.
That's more than enough. And I'm sure Miss Son has, yes, she loves she loves that response. Okay. Favor has a question too, and I think okay, after Favor's question, we'll read a comment from Vivian, and we'll get around wrapping this up. So Favor says she decided that one of her goals for 2025 will be to register for the PHRI training or exam. And she's glad she did. She already paid for the training, but now she's scared about how she's going to complete the payment for the exam since she currently doesn't have a job. So how would you advise her to achieve this goal? Because most employers that she has encountered either want someone who has a CIPM or PHRI certification. What's your advice for Favor?
Fantastic, Favor. Well done for taking that step, right? And well done for being vulnerable to share where you are at. Okay. I think that while waiting for a job, you can ask yourself, how can I add value? Right? And adding value doesn't necessarily mean, I think that's the problem many of us come up with. We think that we have to be an expert, have worked for 10 years or 15 years for us to add value to those around us. No, it doesn't work that way. Ask yourself, how can I show up on LinkedIn and improve my visibility? What does your LinkedIn profile show? What are the things that you know how to do well? Are you able to talk about those on LinkedIn consistently? Let us know what you know on LinkedIn. That will amp your value and make you more attractive for hiring. Now, any decision taken from a place of fear is not a good decision. Don't let fear drive you away from your dream of achieving this. You've paid for the training, start the training, right? Start looking for volunteering opportunities. Someone is doing something on LinkedIn, ask, how can I help you to do this? Build your visibility. That one is free of charge. You can get data right on LinkedIn. Look for people that you can volunteer to help them. Position yourself as someone of value. Once you begin to position yourself in that light, you will attract great opportunities to yourself. Ask yourself, what can I do for somebody where I am today? Can I help someone handle their DMs? I'll spend 1 hour helping them to respond to their DMs. There is something you can do today to add value to somebody that you can get rewarded for. So don't let fear stop you from pushing this dream. Keep the dream alive that yes, I will do my certification and I will get a job. But in the meantime, how can I add value to those around me? What opportunities are there around me that I can use to add value to those around me? Once you do that, I think it will make a world of difference.
Awesome. Favor, I hope that has been able to encourage you. Okay. There's free of just for free there. Just show up on LinkedIn. Doesn't cost you much. Volunteer, acts of service, connects you to what you're looking for. So many things that you can apply. Yes, Favor says thank you, Nneka. So Vivian says that I also believe having a positive mindset and a can-do spirit can help one achieve a lot. Learn to manage your time and outsource what needs to be outsourced. Employ the use of tools that are available to automate processes and learn to use AI. Is there to, and it is here. And let me not say it is there. It is here because it's a very present reality now. To enhance you, not dull you. So use it. Our own key points. All right. Thank you so very much, Nneka. And we're about to wrap up. I don't think we have any more questions on the chat section. But don't go yet. We would ask you and Coach Wesley for your parting words to close out the session. I just want to remind our participants once again, we have discussed a whole lot here, and we have a community. You can join the FYC community for updates and also more information regarding the program that I shared earlier, the Mastermind Coaching Class for Career Success that will be taking place in between February and May. Okay, so in the spirit of being intentional and in the spirit of choosing right, making the right choices, put that all into perspective. All right, so before we close out, Nneka, would you like to share with us your parting words? Just before I invite
Okay, thank you very much. I think the way the conversation has gone has drawn me to what I would call parting words, right? Get your influence right in 2025. Be intentional with who you are watching, right? Get your influences right in 2025. Be intentional. We don't realize how much we are influenced as human beings. If a child can watch people crawling and decide that they want to crawl, if an eagle that was hatched by a chicken stays down there until it's, how many of us have heard that story, until it saw another eagle flying and said, there's something about this thing that is calling to me. Trust me, you are heavily influenced. But you have the power of choice to choose who influences you. So go on social media timeline now, on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, on LinkedIn, and say, which of these people are making me, helping me to become a better person? That is going to be something that's going to drive me, honestly, as I think about 2025. And I want to say thank you to Coach for this opportunity, because, like I said before, I said to my assistant, why me? It was really tiring. Like, I can hear my voice. I've had a very interesting last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been a lot. But I'm grateful that I was able to do this, because it also shaped and impacted me to a large extent. And I want to say to everyone on this call, get your influences right in 2025. You would have done half of the job to help you transform your life to something that you are totally proud of come December 2025. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Nneka. Thank you. Thank you for defying the odds of that voice and the weakness to be a blessing to us today. We don't take you for granted. And we all commit. I am committing on everybody's behalf that we will get our influence right. It's not, I think it was one of the former speakers from the FYC community that even spoke about it. It doesn't have to be a full-fledged post. Start at your pace. A chat here, a comment here, a like here, an addition to the thoughts there, you build on it. Thank you so much, Nneka. Coach Wesley, our convener, we'd like you to give us your parting words as we draw a curtain on the session today.
Thank you, Eziamaka. So my parting word, can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can.
Okay. My parting words today is, whatever is too big for you to see will be too big for your hands to handle. Anything is possible in life as long as you can see it. And just like Nneka said, be careful of your circle. If you are around people who are small-minded, it will affect you. If you are around people who are positive that they can achieve anything, you too can achieve anything. So anything is possible as long as you can see it.
Awesome. I think that was something, I think I wrote it down here. Your size and speed in life is determined by your sight. As long as you can see it, as long as you can see it, you can do it. All right. So on that note, we'll be drawing the curtains on this webinar. I am convinced that you have learned a lot, judging from the feedback that we've seen on the chat section, your questions, your engagements. And I'm sure that you have also decided on one or two things that you're going to start doing. In fact, some people have already started, like Mission started right here, right now. And also, as you go back and reflect on it, some things you need to stop doing. We've heard about fear. This was in response to a question. Don't let fear limit you. Okay, so I mean, there's always that fear of what if not? That fear, overcoming fear is better than living with regret. What if I had? So don't let fear limit you. Okay. Just go out, think through it, pray about it, read about it, study about it, draw it up, make it visible. You know, if you need to get a vision board or something, either digital or physical, just get it out there. And, you know, as you keep looking at it, you know, it stops being that big thing. You know, you actually get to shrink it into something that you can actually achieve. And with the grace of God and commitment, consistency, you know, we're going to get to the promised land before 2025 December. All right. On behalf of everybody on this call, I'd like to say thank you to Vivian, you know, always in the background, making sure that we have the smoothest session possible. Also like to say thank you to Priya Wesley. Yes, we see you two in the background, making sure we have a beautiful session. Thank you, our two wonderful facilitators, Coach Wesley and NECA, as well as NECA's assistant. Yeah, we saw you in the background too. Thank you. And of course, the last accolade to all our participants. I mean, give yourselves a round of applause. You have done extremely well. Yes, not even a round of applause, whatever emoji best, you know, defines what you would love to associate with yourself. Please go ahead and do that. On behalf of the team, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in and see you in February. Bye from this side of the divide.
Thank you, Ezi, so much. Vivian, thank you. Neka, thank you. Thank you, Priya. My Abuja connection, thank you. Wow. You can stop recording. Well done.